When I say, girl, that you are going to go through a season where you feel so lonely, you are going to go through a stage where loneliness will become your best friend. It is a beautiful fall day here in NYC. If you guys are not new to my channel, then you would have known that in the last 5 years I have been going through a very deep reinvention journey where I lost everything in my life and I went through a divorce, and I'm presently living in NYC with my 2 children. Now girl, the process has not been an easy one. It has been very overwhelming for me. I found myself many days just crying and sobbing and being so disappointed for the fact that my life took such a big U-turn from the things that I thought I needed to accomplish in my life. And so now that I am clearly in a new season where I see how much God has transformed me, how much He has renewed me, how much He has shifted my story from one that was filled with trauma and fear, anxiety, depression, just all of the negative things, girl, to one where my life is now filled with beauty and happiness and contentment and favor. I must say that the journey to get to this stage was not an easy one. There was a very detailed process that I had to go through, and I feel like many persons who have been on a similar spiritual awakening or self-improvement journey have gone through some of these major steps as well. And so if it is that you have been finding yourself in any way, shape or form feeling a bit overwhelmed for the fact that your life has shifted so much from what you hoped it would have been, then girl, stay tuned to this video, because I do hope that the 7 stages that I will share with you will somewhat make everything that you're going through in your life, girl, make sense. Okay, so I have them all written down on my phone. Yes, it is a day where my children are at school, and it's the reason why my apartment is so quiet. But I have them all written down right here on my phone as they came to me this morning, and I just want to share them with you, girly girl, because I know I'm not the only one in the world that's on a self-improvement journey and you have a desire to live a specific dream life, girl. We all have that dream life that we want to live. We all have that idea of our lives that we want to portray to this world, especially if you're in your 30s and you know that you are called for more. I do hope that this little video will help you, girl, to overcome some of the questions or to answer some of the questions that you may be asking God. So as I said, these are the 7 stages of reinventing myself that I went through, and you must go through them as well in order to live out your ultimate dream life. And so girl, number 1 is acceptance. First stage that I had to go through was the acceptance stage. This is me coming into agreement with the fact that my life was not going the way how I wanted it to go. I had to agree with my reality, in the sense where I was like, okay, I do know that my ex-husband and I are not getting along. I do know that this is not my idea of what a marriage should look like. I do know I did not want to be stuck in a 9-to-5 every single day of my life, even though I was very successful and climbing the corporate ladder really fast. I had to come into agreement with all those things that I was faced with, even though I was comfortable in a sense in that relationship or in that job, or even with my family. As I said, I knew that I was the chain breaker. I knew I was the one that was destined for more, but I quieted myself in many different areas because I refused to hurt anybody's feelings. And so there came a point in my life where I vividly remember I prayed a prayer and I said, God, I want to live the life of the rich. I am looking at the day right now, you guys, and I prayed that prayer in my business that I had back in Jamaica, and everything inside of me just felt so empty. Yes, I was already married. Yes, I was a millionaire at this point. Yes, I had my own business. I just felt empty. I had one of the best corporate jobs in Jamaica, but at the same time there was just a deep emptiness inside of me, and I had to come to the realization I had to have accepted the fact that my life was not going the way that I wanted. And that was the invitation that God and the universe needed to step into my life to turn everything upside down, girl, so that they could actually set me on the path of reinventing myself and becoming that better version of me who would ultimately start living the life that I've always dreamt of. And trust me, girl, it's about to be a ride for you. But the first thing that you must do is accept the fact that the life that you're living is not the life that you want to live forever. So the second stage that I had to go through, which is a very difficult and humbling stage that you must go through, and that is the stage of confrontation. This is the part where after you have gone ahead and accepted the fact that your life is not going the way how you want it to go, and you are no longer in that brainwash mindset that you have to live life according to how people say you should live it, then you are going to enter your confrontation stage. This is the stage where you find that you're going to be going to the people bold-heartedly, and you're going to be saying to these people, I don't like the way how you're treating me. I don't like the fact that you're always having me do this. I am no longer doing this, or I'm no longer doing that. You find yourself becoming very brave and open to confront the people that have been not serving you in the way that they should be serving you. And you are going to find that these people are going to become very defensive, very, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just going through a midlife crisis, that he knows what. Something that I faced when I did this, when I confronted even my parents about the fact that they allowed me to be abused from age 13 to 17 just to get money, while my father sat in the house as a pastor and did nothing about it. And the thing that he said to me was, oh well, God will kill you for confronting him. That was what he said to me. I did not honor him, so therefore God will kill me. So in their mind, they will think that you're not supposed to confront them. They will think that you're not supposed to try to resolve or find yourself. They're not going to want you to become awoken to the fact that they have been mistreating you all these years. They will not want you to become bold enough either to even confront them about the fact that they have been mistreating you, or you choosing to just want more, just simply want more. And so as you go through this confrontation stage, I must say that this is a brutal stage that you will go through, because I am 100% sure from my own experience that these persons will not take what you're saying to them lightly. They will not just be like, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry and I want to go on this journey with you. No. They will not be receptive of the changes that you are desiring to make for your own personal growth. They are going to be very biased to them wanting everything that you have for them, and they will not be willing to put back anything into you. So a very deep heartbreak is going to come from the third stage that you must go through, which is the letting go stage. Girl, when I say that the letting go stage is so hard, the fact that you knew that you grew with your parents all your life, these are the only people who you knew, these are the only people who you think that you should be able to trust, the only people who you think that you should be able to confide in and just live out your most vulnerable moments with, be the first ones that you have to cut off. I kid you, girl, not. I cried so many nights in pain and in anger. I felt like my entire inside was just being ripped apart, because the persons who birthed me, I no longer was able to keep a relationship with them, because I knew that in order for me to have become my better self, I had to get rid of anything at all that made me feel toxic, or that brought any form of limited beliefs or systems into my life. And so letting go of my parents and moving away from the idea that I needed them to go through my adult life was very painful for me, because I always thought to myself that I would be very, very close with my parents. Now, the next person that I had to let go of was my ex-husband. I would consider myself at that time a best friend to my ex-husband, and him a best friend to me, because he was the one who I was able to confide in a lot of the things that I was going through in my life. And the fact that it turned out that he was one of those persons who was not genuine about me and just my individuality, it was very, very painful. It was like, girl, what were you doing with your life all along? Why couldn't you see that things were not going how you wanted it to go? Why is it that you were so dumb in not seeing that these persons were not for you. And it's not a case where you're necessarily dumb. As I said, the fact that you opened yourself to accepting the fact that your life was not the way how it is supposed to be, God is going to open up every single door, every single thing that would have prevented you from going where you need to go. He is going to turn it over. So even if in that season those persons were good enough for you, the season that you are now heading into, these persons, once God bring them to you to a place where you have to confront them, and that confrontation leads to you letting go, is just a clear signal that, girl, I'm sorry. You thought it would have worked out forever, but God is like, no, this is where it ends, and you have to close that door and you have to move on. The other things that I had to let go of also was my job as a permanent level 3 bursa, which means that I dealt with all the finances plus being the plant manager for a government school back in Jamaica, and that was very, very hard. I had to let go of my car, I had to let go of my home, I had to let go of my business, I had to let go of all my friends, I had to let go of every single soul. It was a clean sweep. And then God picked me up. Relocation, that is something too that I must say that you will go through, which is not a part of the 7, but as God put them in my mind, I will also tell you, because I know that this was a major part of my journey, and that was relocation. So if you are going through any of the stages that I have shared with you, and you find that you're also getting this nudge to relocate or to move from your community, to move out of the state that you're living in, to move out of the country that you're living in, as I did, it is God saying to you that in order for Him to elevate you to the life that you want to live, you must relocate, because the present location that you are in is very limited to your potential. It is very limited to the person that He is calling you to become. And so relocation will become a big part of your journey if it is that you desire more in life, and God realizes that where you're living is not, girl, where you will reach your full potential. So like me, who was from Jamaica, and within 2 weeks after letting go of every single thing in my life, I moved to the USA with my son and my ex-husband. Things will shift so fast, so quick, and you just have to ride with the journey, as uncomfortable as it's going to be. I think we are now at stage number 4 that you must go through when you are going through a massive reinvention journey in order to live your dream life, and that is the isolation period. Oh my God, when I say, girl, that you are going to go through a season where you feel so lonely, you are going to go through a stage where loneliness will become your best friend. You're going to be like, God, what did I do to deserve this level of isolation? It feels like you're going to be in a literal pit, and that is because God wants to refine your entire belief system, identity, and when He's finished with you, the result must be that you are unrecognizable physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the alleys, to the persons that formerly knew you. You have to become a whole new person. The way that you look, the way that you talk, the way that you operate, your habits, everything must change, and the only way that this can change is if you go through a very deep isolation period where the only voice you can hear is the voice of God. I don't even have much to say about this part because it is so intense, it is so overwhelming, but also so beautiful. I kid you, girl, not that when I say that the isolation period is literally like you're going into a furnace to be refined, you can only experience it. That's all I can say. You can only experience this phase, and the sad part about this phase is that you will stay in that isolation period as long as possible until you have learned the lessons and shifted your entire lifestyle, belief system, everything that needs to be shifted. You will have to do all that work in the isolation period before you are able to move on. And yes, I spent at least 3 years in my isolation period because the adjustment was so hard, the shifting was so hard, me forgiving myself was so hard, me stepping into self-care and diving into my spirituality, which is a major part of your isolation period. As I said, this is the stage where you're being refined. Your entire body mind, soul is being rewired in the isolation period. So the longer you take to allow that new system to click in, the longer you take for your body to start accepting the fact that you're now free and you're now safe, and you can go out there and you can start practicing self-care, you can start diving into spirituality on a deeper level. The longer you take, girl, take it from me, the longer you take to start acting on your new system is the longer you will take in your isolation period. Because what God will not do is push you out in the universe if it is that you're not ready to take on all the new things that are going to be coming your way in this new system or shell or whatever you want to call it, soul that has birthed from you. You must be able to accept every new thing that is coming your way. And if it is that your system is not operating in that new mindset, then you're going to make a fool of yourself. So the longer you are in your isolation period, it is because you are not adjusting to the person that God has called you to be, and it's definitely a no-no for you to go out into the world being a new person but still operating on your old habits and mindset. So that stage is a very difficult stage. A lot of people, I feel like, get stuck in the stage of isolation, and that's why you see so many people say, I feel so stuck and I feel like I'm not progressing and I feel like this and I feel like that. That is because you are not allowing the new system that God wants to instill in you to become a part of your lifestyle. And until you do that, then girl, you have nowhere going. It is as simple as that. So as I've seen so many people on social media be like, oh, I feel so stuck, I need to get out of a rut and I need to do this and I need to do that. No, you need to accept the new system that God has instilled in your life, or God wants to instill in your life. You have to accept that, and once you do and you start to live your life accordingly, or show him signs that you want to now live your life accordingly, then girl, that's how fast you will start to move in starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel in you becoming that version of yourself, girl, that you've always dreamt of becoming. So let's move on to the next one. We are now at number 5, and number 5 is the rebuilding stage. Know that you have gone through the isolation period and God was able to put in this new system in you, and he sees that you are adjusting to this new system and you're working according to this new system, girl. Then the next part will be the rebuilding stage. This is where you're going to start from ground zero, as most of us here on social media call it. The starting over phase can only come from the fact that you have gone through your isolation period and the new system has been implemented in you, and you are now ready to start over from scratch. That's where the whole starting over thing comes from, and you realize that most people will even show you this starting over process as a part of them relocating and as a part of them living alone. That is because it is very much in sync to the journey that you're going on. You must go through your isolation period. You must let go. You must go through all the stages that I've mentioned before, because it is very crucial that in your rebuilding process, you will rebuild on a solid foundation that has been built for you to only succeed. There is no failure after this point if you follow every single direction that God is giving you, and the intuition, the level of intuition that he will now place in you. Once you follow all those things, girl, it's only up from there. Okay, so in order for you to start over, as I said, you going through your isolation period and being welcoming of all the new things that will become a part of your life in this period is very important. Or else, girl, there ain't no starting over for you. You're going to continue to feel stuck until you allow yourself to accept the new system that God wants to put in your life. Now we're down to the second to last one, and that is you must go through the answered prayer stage. This is the part where it feels so beautiful. You start to smile again. You start to feel like you're glowing. People are going to be looking at you and being like, oh, you look different. You look nice. What has changed about you? What is this? What is that? And that is because you are no longer in the isolation. And even though you're still in your starting over stage, you are in the answered prayer realm. You are in the realm of living your best life. You are in the realm of your reinvented self. And so you are going to look a lot more graceful. You're going to look a lot more beautiful. You're going to look a lot more refined. You're going to look at peace. You're going to look contented. You're going to look happy. Even if what you're going through to others does not seem like a major shift. The fact that you allow the new system to be implemented in your life and you're living day by day and working on yourself and you're starting from scratch and you're building is a part of your answered prayer stage. So you are going to find that even if you are a broke girl, you're so happy. Even if you're not living exactly where you want to be living in terms of the physical space, you're still going to be happy. You're going to be more considerate to people who are now in this new identity of your life. You're going to find that things that used to bother you in your past life will no longer bother you. People who used to treat you a certain way, that will no longer affect you, and they will also try to come back into your life, but you're going to be like, respectfully, no, thank you, I'm okay. So you'll find that you're in your answered prayer life, and new people will start to form community with you. You'll find that you will start to be a lot more intentional in how you live every single day. And something that I must say that you will see a lot too as you go through all these stages are angel numbers. I don't know if you guys know about angel numbers, but I must say that 5 years ago, before I started this entire journey, God told me that I would be assigned angels who would come on this journey with me to help me go through the stages each stage that I'll be going through. And I kid you girl not when I say I have seen this clear on clear every single day of my life, multiple days of my life since I started this journey. I have been seeing my angels guiding me through numbers more specifically, and I can say it is such a beautiful thing to be in the physical world and know that the spiritual world is so connected to you. And not only that, but the fact that God told you that this would have been a major part of your journey to guide you, as most persons would call them spirit guides. My spirit guides never left me and is still here with me every single day, 24/7 a day, to remind me of my prayer that I prayed and that I was heading in the right direction. And even if I needed to switch up some things and change up some things, my angels would have specific numbers to tell me that, hey, you need to change this, you need to rewire, you need to do that, you need to do this. And that is a proven fact. And just in case you don't know what angel numbers are, so if you've ever seen numbers like 1111 or 2222, 3333, 4444, 1010, 1212, 1414, 888, all those numbers are angel numbers, and they have specific meaning to whatever journey you are in life. And so it has been a beautiful and scary journey to see that these things really do happen. That is next level, girl. That is next level. Now we are down to the final. After you have gone through all the testing, all the trials, all the backlash, all the failure, all the letting go, all the feeling sorry for yourself, after you have gone through all the bad things, girl, no longer are you at the end of the tunnel where the light is, but you are now in the light. Like, you're in the light. You finally step into your new life. You finally start to live out every single day as if you are in your answered prayers. Things start to change back for you financially. Things start to change for you in terms of community. You start to build new friends, new family. And the thing that you have gone through, or these changes that you have gone through, no longer felt like it was literal hell. You feel so happy that you have gone through this stage. You feel so blessed and honored that God chose you to go through this stage, because the only thing that your eyes can now see is success. The only thing that your eyes can now see is wealth and prosperity and gain. No longer can the enemy use whatever past issues you have as a weapon to try to stop your progress. The fact that you went through every single stage and you even started over with grace. Many of you know I started my small business back in May, selling my matcha, doing my candles and so on, and that has really pushed me to the stage where God is like, yeah girl, You're now living. You're living. You got the message and you got it clear. You understand the assignment. I am now in my living stage, girl, where every single day I am still learning, but I am very much grounded in my mindset that I am in a new season of my life where I am able to unlock my dream life, and by doing so, I get to live every single day being at peace, being at ease, and just enjoying it day by day as it comes with my 2 children. So no, the process was not easy. There are many days that I cried my eyes out. There are many days where I felt like tomorrow did not make sense, but God and my angels were like, no girl, hold tight. There is something beautiful at the end of this. And being here right now and experiencing the fact that I am literally living my dream life. I think I've said this to you guys numerous times. I lived my life to be free in my 30s, and being 32 and watching the fact that I am living in one of the most sorted out cities in the world, I get to run my own business, which is my dream. My ultimate dream has always been to run my own cafe-like business in my 30s, taking care of my children, and a part of that, girl, also meant that I would be single. Yes. And so seeing that I'm now literally living every single day with every single thing that I have prayed for and more, because under no powers, girl, did I know I would be living in New York City. No, I did not know that. But at the end of the day, as I said, the fact that I prayed and I asked God for more, he was like, I'm going to give this girl more than she could ever imagine. And I'm yet to see all that he has in store for me. So I'm just here and I want to take you guys on this journey with me as God has instructed. So day by day, I'm sharing with you guys my little living life here in New York City, calmly, single, with my children, all of the above, girl. And as I transform, hopefully, girl, you would transform with me and we can go on this journey of living our ultimate best lives. Once you go through the 7 stages, it's only up, up, up from here. As I said, if you're going through any one of these stages where you feel like you are alone, or you feel like you're being tested, you're being tried, it's because you prayed that prayer that you want to live your ultimate best life. And in order for you to live your ultimate best life, it is simple. You have to let your old one go. All right, girl, bye bye now.